The Pacific Ocean has always held secrets, but in early 2025, it swallowed something that left even seasoned investigators unsettled. A privately chartered jet, carrying 7 individuals, departed on what should have been a routine flight across open water. Weather conditions were stable, the aircraft had passed all pre-flight checks, and communication with air traffic control was clear and consistent. Then, without warning, the plane vanished. No distress call, no indication of technical failure. Just a sudden and complete disappearance from radar, as if it had been erased from existence in a single moment. Search and rescue operations were launched within hours, involving multiple countries and advanced tracking systems. Aircraft and naval vessels scanned thousands of square miles, guided by the plane's last known coordinates. Days turned into weeks, yet no wreckage was found. No floating debris, no oil slick, nothing to suggest a crash. The ocean, vast and indifferent, revealed nothing. It was as though the aircraft had never been there at all. The only clue recovered was a faint emergency signal detected by a satellite, lasting less than 10 seconds before fading into silence. That brief signal raised more questions than answers. As investigators dug deeper, unsettling details began to emerge. The aircraft had recently undergone maintenance, but no faults were recorded. The pilot was highly experienced, with thousands of flight hours and a clean record. The passengers, however, drew particular attention. Among them was an individual reportedly linked to advanced technological research, possibly involving experimental communication systems. Authorities never confirmed this officially, but the connection fueled speculation that the flight may have carried something, or someone, far more significant than initially believed. Data analysts reviewed satellite imagery and radar logs, searching for any anomaly that might explain the disappearance. Some data suggested a sudden and sharp drop in altitude just moments before the signal was lost, but the information was incomplete and inconsistent. There were no signs of severe turbulence or weather disturbances in the area. Theories began to circulate. A catastrophic mechanical failure, a hidden act of sabotage, or even the possibility of a mid-air event that left no trace. Yet none of these explanations fully accounted for the complete absence of evidence. What makes the case even more chilling is the silence that followed. No group claimed responsibility, no ransom demands were made, and no credible sightings were reported. It was as if the plane had crossed into a place beyond reach, leaving behind only questions. Aviation experts admitted that while crashes at sea can sometimes leave minimal debris, the total lack of physical evidence in this case was highly unusual. Months later, the investigation remains open but stalled. The ocean continues to guard its secret, and the families of those on board are left without closure. Every so often, new theories emerge, some grounded in science, others drifting into the realm of the unknown, but none have brought investigators closer to the truth. The vanishing flight over the Pacific stands as one of 2025's most haunting mysteries, a reminder that even in an age of advanced technology and constant surveillance, there are still places where answers can simply disappear. Far from any city, buried beneath endless waves in a remote region of Saudi Arabia, something unexpected was discovered in early 2025, something that would quickly become one of the most debated and restricted mysteries of the year. It began not with an expedition, but with a routine analysis of satellite imagery. Researchers scanning the desert for geological patterns noticed a strange geometric outline beneath the surface. Unlike natural formations, this shape was precise, symmetrical, angular, and unmistakably artificial. At first, it was dismissed as a data glitch, but repeated scans confirmed its presence. Whatever lay beneath the sand was real. Curiosity quickly turned into urgency as a small team of archaeologists and geologists was assembled to investigate the site. The location was isolated, far from known historical landmarks or trade routes, making the discovery even more puzzling. When the team arrived, they found nothing unusual at first, just endless dunes stretching in every direction. But as excavation began, the sand gave way to stone. Massive, weathered slabs emerged, arranged in a pattern that suggested intentional design. As more sand was cleared, the outline of what appeared to be a V-solid doorway began to take shape, standing upright despite centuries, perhaps millennia, of burial. The doorway itself was unlike anything the team had encountered before. It was carved from a dark, dense stone that did not match the surrounding geology. Intricate markings covered its surface, symbols that did not correspond to any known ancient language or script. Some researchers speculated that it could belong to a lost civilization, one that existed long before recorded history in the region. Others believed it might be a ceremonial structure, possibly marking an entrance to something buried deeper below. But there was one unsettling detail. Despite the appearance of a doorway, there was no visible opening. No hinges, no seams, no passage beyond it, just a solid barrier as if it had been sealed intentionally. As excavation continued, strange occurrences began to trouble the team. Equipment that had functioned perfectly elsewhere started failing without explanation. Electronic devices lost power abruptly, only to restart moments later. Compasses spun aimlessly, refusing to settle on a direction. Workers reported hearing a faint, low-frequency hum coming from beneath the ground, a sound that could not be traced to any identifiable source. At first, these incidents were dismissed as environmental interference, but as they became more frequent, unease spread through the camp. Local guides and who had been hired to assist with the excavation grew increasingly reluctant to continue. They spoke of old stories passed down through generations, warnings about disturbing certain parts of the desert. According to these legends, there were places where the itself was not meant to be opened, where something ancient and powerful lay hidden. While many dismissed these tales as superstition, the growing number of unexplained events made it difficult to ignore them completely. Just as the team prepared to conduct a deeper excavation beneath the doorway, something unexpected happened. Authorities intervened. Without detailed explanation, the site was declared restricted, and all ongoing work was ordered to stop immediately. Armed security personnel arrived within days, sealing off the area and removing key artifacts and data collected during the dig. Members of the research team were instructed not to discuss their findings publicly. Some complied, while others hinted at details in anonymous interviews, stories of vibrations beneath of instruments detecting hollow spaces far below, and of a sense that the doorway was not just symbolic, but functional in a way no one yet understood. Satellite access to the area was reportedly limited soon after, and attempts by independent researchers to revisit the site were denied. Official statements described the location as a sensitive archaeological zone, offering no further clarification. The lack of transparency only fueled speculation. Was the structure evidence of a forgotten civilization with advanced capabilities? Could it be a natural formation that only appeared artificial? Or was it something deliberately hidden, sealed away for reasons that modern authorities were unwilling to reveal? Today, the desert remains silent, its sands once again undisturbed on the surface. But beneath it, the mysterious doorway still stands, unopened, unexplained, and inaccessible. Whatever lies beyond it remains one of the greatest unanswered questions of 2025, a hidden threshold waiting in darkness, guarding secrets that may redefine history, or challenge everything we think we know about the past. In the vast, frozen isolation of Antarctica, where silence stretches endlessly across miles of ice, something began to break through the stillness in early 2025. At a remote research station operated by an international team of scientists, a series of unusual radio transmissions started appearing on monitoring equipment. At first, they were dismissed as interference, common in such extreme environments, but the signals persisted. Every 17 minutes, without fail, the same transmission would return, repeating a pattern that was too consistent to be random. What made the signals truly unsettling was their composition. Beneath layers of static and distortion, researchers believed they could hear something resembling human voices, faint, fragmented, and almost mechanical in tone. Alongside these sounds were sequences of coded frequencies that did not match any known communication system. The signals weren't coming from satellites, aircraft, or nearby stations. Their origin pointed somewhere far more disturbing, deep beneath the ice itself. As the transmissions continued, scientists began recording and analyzing every detail. Advanced software was used to isolate the audio patterns, revealing repeating structures that suggested intentional design. Some experts proposed that it could be a rare natural phenomenon, electromagnetic activity caused by shifting ice or underground geological movement. Others weren't so sure. The regular timing, the layered audio, and the precise frequency range hinted at something artificial. The idea that there could be a man-made, or unknown, source beneath kilometers of ice sparked both excitement and unease. Eventually, a decision was made to investigate the origin point directly. A small expedition team was assembled, equipped with specialized drilling sensors, communication gear, and tracking instruments. They set out across the lead-covered terrain, heading toward the coordinates identified by signal triangulation. The journey itself was treacherous, with temperatures plunging far below freezing and visibility often reduced to near zero. After days of travel, the team reached the location, and what they reported would only deepen the mystery. According to the final transmission received from the expedition, their instruments had detected a vessel, a metallic object buried far beneath the ice. The structure appeared to be massive, extending beyond the range of their scanners. Before they could investigate further, their communication became erratic. One team member reportedly described hearing the same from the original signal, but now clearer, closer. Then, without warning, all contact was lost. Back at the research station, panic spread as attempts were made to re-establish communication. Rescue protocols were initiated, but harsh weather conditions delayed any immediate response. Days later, when a recovery team finally reached the site, they found the expedition members alive, but something was wrong. None of them could recall what had happened after their final transmission. Their equipment showed signs of malfunction, and recorded data from the mission had been corrupted or erased entirely. It was as if a crucial piece of time had simply vanished from their memory. Medical examinations revealed no physical injuries, but the psychological impact was evident. The team members described a lingering sense of unease, as though they had experienced something they could not consciously remember. Despite intense questioning, no clear answers emerged. The only remaining evidence was the continued presence of the signals themselves, still repeating every 17 minutes, unchanged. Theories surrounding the incident quickly spread beyond the scientific community. Some suggested the possibility of a long-lost installation buried beneath the ice, perhaps from a forgotten expedition or even a secret project. Others speculated about something far older, an object or structure that had been trapped beneath the lead for centuries, only now beginning to reveal itself. More extreme ideas pointed toward non-human origins, fueled by the strange audio patterns and the unexplained memory loss of the team. Official reports remained cautious, labeling the phenomenon as unexplained electromagnetic activity under investigation. Yet behind closed doors, many involved in the case admitted that the evidence did not fit any known explanation. The combination of structured signals, the discovery of a massive object, and the complete memory gap experienced by the expedition created a puzzle unlike anything previously encountered. To this day, the transmissions continue, echoing through the frozen emptiness of Antarctica at precise intervals. No further expeditions have been publicly confirmed, and access to the original data has been restricted. Beneath the endless ice, something remains, silent, hidden, and possibly waiting. Whether it is a relic of the past, a product of unknown technology, or something entirely beyond human understanding, the ghost signals of Antarctica stand as one of the most chilling and unresolved mysteries of 2025. In a quiet rural region near Sao Paulo, where life usually follows a predictable rhythm, something began to disrupt the night skies in early 2025. It started with a single report from a local resident who claimed to have seen unusual lights hovering above the horizon at exactly midnight. At first, it sounded like a common misidentification, perhaps drones or distant aircraft, but the following nights brought more witnesses, all describing the same katana with striking consistency. The lights appeared at precisely the same time, in the same part of the sky, as if following a schedule. Within days, dozens of people gathered each night to observe the phenomenon. What they witnessed was far from ordinary. Multiple glowing orbs would emerge silently, forming geometric patterns in the sky with perfect synchronization. They moved too smoothly, too precisely, to resemble any known aircraft. There was no sound, no visible propulsion, and no variation in their timing. The lights would hover, shift into intricate formations, circles, triangles, and lines, and then vanish just as suddenly as they appeared, leaving the sky empty once again. As videos began circulating online, the phenomenon gained global attention. Experts from various fields attempted to analyze the footage, but the results only deepened the mystery. Some suggested atmospheric reflections or rare plasmagotonym, while others considered the possibility of advanced drone technology. However, none of these explanations fully accounted for the flawless coordination and the consistent timing observed night after night. Even more puzzling was the fact that recording devices often failed to capture the lights accurately. Cameras would flicker, distort, or produce incomplete footage, as if struggling to process what they were seeing. Scientific teams eventually arrived in the area, bringing specialized instruments to measure electromagnetic activity, intensity, and atmospheric conditions. Yet their findings were inconsistent. Some readings indicated sudden urge spikes in the air during the appearances, while others showed nothing unusual at all. It was as though the phenomenon existed just beyond the limits of detection, visible to the human eye, yet elusive to technology. But the most disturbing aspect of the mystery did not come from the sky, it came from the people watching it. Several witnesses began reporting unusually vivid dreams after observing the lights for extended periods. These were not ordinary dreams, but highly detailed experiences involving unfamiliar landscapes, strange structures, and a persistent feeling of being watched. What made these accounts even more unsettling was their similarity. Individuals who had never met described nearly identical scenes, as if they had shared the same dream. Psychologists were brought in to evaluate these claims, initially attributing them to suggestion or mass psychological influence. However, as more cases emerged, the pattern became harder to dismiss. The dreams often occurred on the same nights the lights appeared, and those who stopped watching the sky reported that the dreams gradually faded. No clear scientific explanation could fully account for this connection. Authorities attempted to calm public concern by labeling the lights as a natural atmospheric phenomenon, though no detailed explanation was provided. Despite this, Access to certain observation areas was quietly restricted, and some reports suggested that data collected by researchers was withheld from public release. This lack of transparency only intensified speculation, with theories ranging from secret military experiments to unknown forms of communication. As weeks turned into months, the lights continued to appear with the same eerie precision, midnight, every time. Crowds grew larger, drawn by curiosity, fear, and a desire to witness the unexplained. Some came searching for answers, while others simply wanted to experience the phenomenon for themselves. Yet no matter how many people watched, no one could explain what they were seeing. The midnight lights over Brazil remain an open mystery, suspended between science and the unknown. Whether they are a rare Prakritika Ghatana, an undisclosed technological experiment, or something far beyond current understanding, one fact remains undeniable: something is appearing in the sky, following a pattern, and leaving an impression not just on cameras, but on the human mind itself.